everybody, my name is Laura and today I'm going to be talking to you about how you can keep up your dreads so that they're going to be looking nice. Now you're probably looking at me going, yeah, but girl, you don't even have any dreads. But I do! I have 6 over in here. So I used to have 5 and then I had a feather extension in it and it just grew a dread. So, you know, it might be thinking like, you don't have very many, they're short, why are you telling me about this? But I have a lot of extra things I need to deal with because I have dreads and I have hair. So I actually know a lot about them. I've had these for 2.5 years, so I'm gonna go on with them. So first off, I find that there's a lot of stereotypes about dreads. Is that they're dirty, we don't wash our hair, we're disgusting because we have them, like how are you gonna get a job, you have nasty hair. So this is where I wanna start off. First thing, with your dreads, taking care of them, don't neglect them. Why are people neglecting them? I see people all the time, oh, I neglect my dreads, I don't do anything, this is how they just go, which is like nice, be natural, go ahead. But like, one thing I also see people talking about is how dreads are a journey. My 10-year journey. I've been on a journey for 3 months with my dreads, my 5-year journey. Okay, if this is a journey, you're talking about it like you're in love with it. Yes, you're in love with your hair. So if you love something, take care of it. Don't neglect your hair. Like, you need to take care of this. You need to make it look good. You know what I mean? Like, you're getting them. You're not looking like a caveman. You're having dreadlocks. And dreadlocks, yes, they are mostly about neglect, but like honestly, you can put a little bit of time into them. So this is a time that you can put into them to make them look the best that they are going to do. So first off, what I do is I wash my hair. So if you have a full head of dreads, you might not want to wash them all the time, but you can get them wet. Getting your dreads wet is going to tighten them. So if you find that, you know, oh, my dreads are loose, or, you know, you wash your hair once every 2 months and after you wash them, you get this little like bumpy thing sticking out of here and it's looking super annoying, it's because they're tightening up. Now they'll tighten up by themselves if you don't get them wet, but when you get them wet, I don't really know why it does it, but it tightens them out a lot. You just have your dread will just like suck up into yourself when it washes it, and do itself when you wash it, and they're going to tighten up. So it's great when you first get your dreads to get them wet all the time. I found when I first did mine, you know, for the first couple washes, the first month or so, they sort of stayed the same. And then after that, they just started changing all over the place. Every time I washed it, which at that time was like 2 or 3 times a week. Now it's only once a week I wash my hair because of my color. They were just changing all the time. And it was pretty annoying, but you just deal with it. And I did different things. I found techniques at work that helped them. So one thing that was awesome, after I wash my hair, they get into these little bumps and they do all this annoying thing, is I roll my dreads. So, you know, if I find that up at the top here, they're sort of getting a little bit strange, I grab them in my hands and I go like this. If I've got a bump sticking out, I do that. And as I'm doing this, I'm pressing really, really hard and I'm almost stretching my hair out because your hair is elastic. So I honestly find when I roll them, it makes them tighter and they almost feel like they're lengthening when I do that, which is really nice. So tighten, pull them down like that, and you get so much cleaner dreads. It'll pull all those little guys in, and when they're wet, it's the best, and then it ends up squeezing a lot of water out, so it won't take you as long to dry too, because it's annoying, you wash your hair, you know, you're thinking, oh my gosh, they're gonna mold up, they're never gonna dry. Just don't wrap them up. If you're gonna, you know, you wash them, and then you need to let them air dry, and you need to let them dry as fast as you can. So say like, air dry them, wrap them up in a towel, I blow dry mine, do whatever. Mine, they never have a problem. So wash your dreads, it's going to make them better. So, and the rolling. Another thing, so if you wash them, if you've done the twist and rip method to do them, when you wash them, they're going to get so short. Now, I think that's one problem, people don't like doing them. You know, I know my sister has dreads and she's like, I wash them, they just get totally messed up and they get shorter and stuff. But say when you've done the twist and rip method, I see a lot of people, they just loosely to them, you know, their hair is to here, they've got these little dreads that they've done, they're still down to here, but you can see through the twist and rip method. And then as they tighten up, they're so loose, they suck up, and all of a sudden your dreads that were to here, down to here, are all of a sudden up to here, and you're like, shit, like my long hair is gone, why are my dreads so short? So if you want to keep your dreads longer, here's something you can do. When you do your twist and rip method, do them tight, don't do them loose. This is how I did my dreads, and they didn't lose any length, except for when they tightened up, you know, they only lost this much, but they didn't lose the whole entire thing. So I'm going to do one here as I keep discussing. So what you need to do with it is pull tight. Don't let them be loose, because what's happening is when you're leaving them loose, oh, I'm getting a ray of sunshine, perfect. You're leaving all this space so that the hairs can tighten up, but if you do these as tight as you possibly can, then your hair doesn't have anywhere that it can shrink up to because there's knots there. It doesn't have any room to shrink up. So this is really time consuming to do it really tight, and you get a lot of pieces that stick out, but honestly, it is so much better. You're gonna keep your dreads long, they're gonna be tight, and like they just take some time to work into themselves, but they're better, okay? So here, this is like, if you have long hair, this honestly takes forever. It's so annoying. Even on my short hair, I feel like this takes forever. But just do something tight. So can you see what I have forming up here is like a nice thick dread, and they stick out and they're annoying, but it works. So another thing for length, say you've done this method, if you want your hair to grow, you're finding it's not growing, you need to suck your ends in. Because if you have your ends sucked in, you don't have any loose ends that can get dry, because your loose ends like this is exactly like the rest of my hair. It's exposed to the elements, it's getting sun on it, it's getting wind on it, and my ends can break. They can break and they can die, and the ends are gonna fall off. So they're not gonna get any longer. So what you can do, if you don't wanna suck your ends in, you like the look of the little edges like that, but you want it to grow longer, is trim them. That's allowed. You're allowed to trim them. Like, just because they're dreads doesn't mean you can't like cut your hair. So I take mine, and because my hair is short and I maintain it short like this, or I have at least for the last 2.5 years, I trim them all the time. Like, my dreads have way outgrown my hair, but I just trim them off because I don't want to have long dreads like I do soon because I'm growing my hair out, but I leave them. Oh, there, that's done. That's a proper dread there. That is barely going to get any shorter than it already is. So that's awesome. Anyway, so pull in your ends if you want your hair to grow, or trim them. You need to keep your hair healthy. So, and if you got natural hair, it's probably going to be better. Now, if you've got colored dreads, they definitely need to have more care. So I have my hair colored. I've always had my dreads colored. I had them blonde when I first did them, and then I went super blonde, had them bleach. I've had them pink, brown, red, and now the purple. So I've done all sorts of different things. You can color them, it's totally safe. You don't need to smash the color in there, you just need to paint the outside. Just make sure that you get enough on there, because I've done this and it sucks. You paint your dread one color, you miss a little chunk like at the back here, and then you've got a strip of another color. Looks super, super ugly. But the benefit of coloring your dreads is that the color stays in for a really long time, and it doesn't fade much, and they look awesome, and it's cool because you can just color a few. Like I had for a really long time just 2 pink dreads, and the rest of them were blonde. It was nice, but my ones that were super bright blonde, the ends on them did die a lot easier. They were super broken. I had to trim them, and then eventually I just let them grow out into my natural, and then I colored them dark, and they were fine. Another one is if you want to put wraps and beads in your hair. So I have this one wrap in here. It's down here. I got it all purple when I colored my hair 3 weeks ago, but it was blue and pink. But I've had this since I put it up when it was way up here in my hair. And you know what? It's never molded. It's never done anything. Like, it doesn't smell. It doesn't do anything. It is totally fine. Like, some people say they change the wraps all the time, and you can't, but you don't have to. You can just leave it. Same with beads. Just put them in there. Like, really, like, and this is a wrap too, but it's not around my hair. I just clipped this in because it was cool. And these are super fun with dreads, just to put a whole bunch of different piles of things in. But basically what it gets down to, all of these different things that I've told you, is you need to not neglect your hair. You need to still take care of it. Like, these are your babies. These are your loves. You know what I mean? Like, I know you people who have dreads. You're the same as me. You love them. So if you love them, take care of them. Don't let them turn ugly. Don't let them get disgusting. Don't let them get moldy. Don't let them fall off. Don't do this stuff. These scary myths that you hear of people's hair doing all these things is because they don't take care of it. And now they might say that they do, but you can't. You know what I mean? And I know because I'm someone who takes care of mine all the time, because I have the rest of this hair that I have to take care of. I'm not able to neglect my dreadlocks because I can't. You know what I mean? I am constantly pulling them apart from each other, making sure that they're not getting stuck together. I'm constantly rolling them. I'm constantly making sure that my hair is not getting stuck together in these. And I just do that every week, and it's not a lot of work, honestly. Like, you're just sitting there watching TV, play with your dreads. You're sitting there on the bus doing nothing, play with your dreads. Just play with them all of the time. That's how you have them, and that's going to be how they look the best, is if you keep touching them and doing things to them. Just neglecting them and letting them turn into caveman hair, you're going to have a mess, and they're not going to be nice. So anyway, comment on this. Let me know what you think. Do you hate my advice that I've just given you? Do you think that it's all crap? Let me know, because I'm sure there's going to be people out there who disagree with me, but I've had mine for a long time. I know they're short and that they're few, but I take a lot of care of them, and my dreads are awesome and I love them. So yeah, anyway, let me know what you guys think. My name is Laura. I will be back with you guys next week to make another hair video. I will see you. Bye.